Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Tohid. Israel cannot hide the truth of the genocide it is carrying out in Gaza. So it's killing those who record every strike. What Israel is doing in Gaza is terrorism practiced by a state by killing civilians, targeting hospitals, first responders, and journalists. It is trying to terrorize Palestinians into fleeing their own land. These aren't just my words, but the words of David Hertz, editor in chief of Middle East Eye. Israel also killed Middle East Eye journalist in a double tap strike on the Gaza's Nasser hospital. Journalists from AP, Reuters and Al Jazeera were among the 20 killed in hospital strike that forced a rare statement of regret from the IDF and Netanyahu. In my view, this is intentional killing, done to silence the voices showing the genocide live on camera. The double tap tactic means one strike followed quickly by another, aimed at killing rescuers and survivors. And this is not new. Nearly 200 journalists have been killed in Gaza since October 2023, targeted only for doing their job. Many risk their lives knowing that at any moment the IDF could kill them. And now, as the Israeli army prepares to capture Gaza city and displace even more people, journalists fear such attacks will only increase. But remember, hospitals and journalists are protected under international law. Israel, however, calls these attacks killing tragic mishap and promises investigations by themselves after killing first. It's like asking a criminal to investigate his own crime. And the pattern doesn't stop in Gaza. The West Bank, settlers' attacks are rising. Recently, Israeli forces uprooted thousands of Palestinian olive trees, claiming they posed a security threat to settlers' road. But the truth is clear. Netanyahu's vision goes far beyond security. He speaks openly for greater Israel, rejecting the two-state solution. This isn't about just Palestine anymore. It's about the whole of Middle East. The vision of greater Israel stretches into Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Iraq, and even Saudi Arabia. Land occupation has long been Israel's family business, and Netanyahu has turned it into a religious war, claiming it's a part of a biblical promise. And the world is noticing. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, Egypt, and the Arab League, and even the Palestine Authority condemned Netanyahu's comment, claiming them colonial fantasies. Turkey went further, hosting an OIC emergency meeting on Gaza in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, urging coordinated pressure on Israel. Israel isn't stopping. It escalated by striking Iran under Operation Rising Lion, hitting nuclear sites, military bases, even homes. Soon after, the US military joined the bunker-busting bombs on Iran's nuclear facilities. Israel claimed it was preemptive defense. Iran insisted its program was peaceful. The attacks pushed the region into even greater danger. And who supports it fully? The United States. The United States that preaches human rights, international law, and peace is now being exposed. Its double standards are fading before the world's eyes. Everyone can see US weapons and political backing are enabling Israel's crimes against humanity. The United Nations looks helpless and Arab states are running out of words. So the question we ask today, is Israel practicing state terrorism? Let's break it down. Terrorism means using violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, for political goals. By that definition, let's look at the facts. Israel has bombed Gaza for nearly 2 years, killing more than 62,000 people. Leaked Israeli intelligence shows that 83% of Gaza war dead are civilians, with only about 8,900 Hamas and PIJ fighters confirmed or likely killed in 19 months of war. The rest are civilians, displaced many times, starved and bombed. At least 18,885 children have been killed. Over 28,000 women and girls have been killed. Since 27 May, at least 1,373 Palestinians have been killed while seeking food, 859 near the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and 514 along food convoy routes. More than 500,000 people remain trapped in famine, starved by Israeli restrictions on aid. The UN calls it a man-made disaster. Humanitarian groups call it war crimes, some call it genocide, and yes, many call it state terrorism. Now, Israel argues it is self-defense against Hamas, against rockets, against October 7. They say Hamas hides among civilians. But even if that's true, the law of war are clear. You must distinguish between fighters and civilians. Israel's actions show the opposite. Bombing hospitals, shelters, and refugee camps cannot be called defense. So, is it state terrorism? Legally, the world has no single definition for when a state commits terrorism. But morally, the world is watching the same horrific pattern: protected sites bombed, civilians killed, famine enforced. What is undeniable is the immense horror and human cost of this conflict, a situation filled with tragedy. And it's a question everyone must grapple with just basic common sense. Call it whatever you want. The truth is this: it is mass killing, it is displacement, it is terror from the air, land, and sea. And that truth is undeniable. What's coming next may or may not be predicted. But if this is not stopped, those in power will stand accused and the destruction may be beyond repair.